Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast. And today we're actually going to start something a little bit different. As you may know by now, that Mondays normally have been the wisdom episodes, but being ADHD and liking new things and wanting to evolve and change like we all should, I've decided that I'm going to be bringing in a new sort of concept to the podcast, I would say. So I want to give you a bit of a backstory as well, because that would probably be helpful. But to let you know that a Monday episode for now is going to be called More Yourself. Now, as you know from maybe listening to this podcast for a long time, my surname is More Youssef. So I normally introduce the podcast as, hello, welcome to the ADHD Women's Wellbeing Podcast. I'm Kate More Youssef, your host. It kind of just rolls off the tongue. And a few months ago, I got an email from somebody who said to me that they'd been listening to the podcast for a while and they had always thought that my surname was More Yourself, which made me laugh. And I think she said, it was like her processing, or maybe it was just my pronunciation. But as soon as she said that and I saw the words on the paper or on the email, the screen, something within me, and typically that's when I get my inner nudges, when I really feel like a very visceral reaction to the situation. So I started thinking a lot more about that, and it really aligned with the way I was wanting to evolve my work with ADHD women, late diagnosed ADHD women, and really tap into the element of post-diagnosis. How do we want to feel? Where do we want to go? What do we want life to look like? And for me, it's always come back to authenticity. It's always come back to dropping this mask or changing the way we look at ourselves and the way we view the world and how we want to show up in the world. And it always comes back to how can we be more ourselves? How can you be more yourself? How can you tap into those parts of you that just want to be free, that want to be more expressive, or want to just show up in a way that feels expansive or kind or compassionate to yourself? So I have been obviously very busy with the book, so I thought I'm going to just let this percolate a little bit. Something I always advise and guide my clients to not rush ahead with our impulsive, must be done tomorrow kind of ADHD tendencies. And actually, harder it may be, we sit with it and we explore it within, and we get curious and we write and we journal and we pan it out on paper, or we process it out loud, however that looks. And so I've just kind of let this sit on a whiteboard for about 3 months, and I'm looking at the whiteboard now, and it's just absolutely covered in brain downloads of what this concept and how this evolution or revolution would feel like. And to me, it feels like a framework of, if we can be more ourselves, more yourself, what does that look like? What does that look like in your relationships, in your families, in your careers, in your creativity, in your fulfillment, and how we can maybe start peeling away those layers of authenticity and asking for what you need or what you want or what you desire, being open, being more truthful, especially when we get that understanding of neurodivergence, understanding what has been driving us, why we've behaved the way we have, why we feel the way we do, our sensory differences, our relationship desires and needs, why our brain works the way it does, why our nervous system is reacting and responding to the outside world for so many different reasons. And it always comes back to living a more authentic, truthful life. Now that you understand yourself in this lens of, okay, so the ADHD has been there, it's shown up in different varieties and different variations. It's, helped me and it's hindered me, it's challenged me, but it's also pushed me. But obviously we know that with ADHD, it is sort of turned up and turned down due to the external life stresses or the conditions or whatever's going on in our life, but also, I guess, what's going on for us from a biological perspective, a hormonal perspective, a support perspective. There's so many different elements. But it's always, always helped when we can tune back in, create space, allow ourselves to get curious, and start breaking away those old beliefs and start asking what it is that we want. So, these episodes are going to be your invitation. They're going to be kind of like mini coaching sessions, conversations where I might just ask you lots of questions. It's going to evolve. I kind of see more yourself as an anchor. It's that anchor to always come back to yourself. It's kind of this knowledge that if we have this baseline of this belonging, of being truthful for all of us, for whatever that is, whether it's the good, the less good, the stuff that we want to change, the stuff that we're really happy with, and we let go of so many things that we've been holding on to, the people pleasing and the perfectionism, and maybe those boundaries that we've been afraid to put up, or having those uncomfortable conversations that feel so horrendous. But when we do, we always feel better. And I'm not saying this is like a whole life overhaul. This isn't, if you're going to be more yourself, then, all of a sudden everything has to change. This is not about doing anything overwhelming, but this is about putting ourselves in those tiny, uncomfortable situations where we've put a front out there, where we haven't embraced our real selves. And perhaps we have put ourselves in relationships or friendships or careers that feel like we should be doing that, but it's kind of burning the essence of our soul. And I want to start bringing in an opportunity for us to say, right, what brings me more balance? What brings me more fulfillment? Where do I find that joy? Where do I find that fun, that laughter, that freedom? And it really, really can be small. This is about choosing those tiny incremental moments where maybe feeling more yourself is just changing the way you wear your hair, buying a new pair of glasses. Maybe it's walking barefoot in the garden and dancing with AirPods in and not caring what people think. Maybe being more yourself is making a decision that you don't want to make those plans anymore at the weekend. Or maybe being more yourself is trying something new, trying a new hobby, doing something different creatively, pushing ourselves into a way of somewhere that feels a bit scary, but also really enticing and really sort of inviting. Jumping into that lake or going on that trip or buying something that you've always wanted to buy, but you kind of think, well, what would people say? Worrying what people might, how people may judge you, how you might judge yourself as well. And this is all about very, very gentle nervous system resets, energy reboosts. This is about waking up every morning and not feeling constricted and oppressed and repressed and closed, and making small decisions every day or how you can open yourself up to change, to feeling more expressive, using the concept of more yourself of, well, does that feel right? Does that feel like I'm spending my time wisely? Does that feel like that's a real full yes? Or is there a no in me, but I'm sort of worrying about what people might say? It might just look like doing less and being more. Like when I say being, just being present, resting in the moment, being more mindful. I'm going to be talking about this, in future episodes. I've just done a course on mindfulness, and everything was that through that lens of the difficulty with being in the present, our difficulty with just being where we are right now, not in the past, not ruminating and feeling depressed about what could have been, what should have been, but also the anxiety about the future. How's that going to look? I always go back, if I've got a bit of a mantra and I'm sort of doing some breath work, or I'm trying to meditate, or I'm just trying to clear my busy mind, I use a mantra that is, peace is the present, or peace is my present, or present is my peace. It's interchangeable. You just go back and just be like, present is my peace. Present is my peace. Because when we are right here, right now, we're not thinking of all the things that we should be doing and need to be doing and what's right and what's wrong and what will they say and all the judgment. It's just sitting and building this capacity to hold whatever it is and releasing this need to constantly be doing, constantly be productive, constantly seeking external validation. We're coming back to more yourself, more of who our essence is, more of who we want to be moving forwards. And I see this a lot, that with the diagnosis of of ADHD, or this combination of, oh, okay, so there's autism, there's dyslexia, this is what I've been challenged with all my life and I've had no idea. And I thought I just needed to push more, do more, be more. And that is so deeply, deeply ingrained in our psyche that is really hard. Like, we have to do this layer by layer, peeling back, gentle, because our nervous system is very, very used to being on guard, checking, hypervigilant, not feeling safe, resting. And this world that we live in is all about how you grow your business, how you grow your career, how to make more money. And yes, the materialism, the abundance can show up in materialism, but actually it has to start from within. The energy has to start from within. And if we don't work on breaking this all down and waking up to what truly, truly matters to us, whether that is just wanting some more time with your family, wanting more connection in your relationships, wanting to lean more into joy and creativity, wanting to spend more time in nature. So what I wanted to say, that with these episodes, I am also launching a space, whether you want to call it kind of a membership or a community, or it's a space that is also evolving. And I will be beginning this in October, and it will also be called More Yourself. I've tried to make it as accessible as possible. And if you sign up before the end of September, I think it's sort of around the 20th or 23rd of September, then you will have that founders members price. I think it's around £18 a month, and then it will go up to about £26 a month. However, but if you get yourself on that wait list, you will get that founding members price. And I'm going to be creating something that will involve mentorship. So it won't just come from me. It'll be the opportunity to mentor other women, but also be mentored yourself, bringing and sharing and diversifying and allowing each of us to guide each other in some way. Be that lighthouse for somebody else, be that handhold or that cheerleader for someone else. I'll also be coming in and doing a monthly workshop Q&A live. We're also going to be doing a book club style community where I will be working through the different chapters of the ADHD Women's Wellbeing Toolkit, bringing them to life, sharing different on-demand workshops. I'm really going to try and make this a very overwhelming space. That is what I'm going to sort of underpin it with, is I don't want anyone to feel like they're behind, or that you need to be showing up, or that you have to be doing something, or you feel that it's just another thing to add on your tick list or your to-do list. This is the antidote to this having to do more, be more productive. This is an opportunity for you to sort of almost rest and be more yourself, be softer, sit, relax, listen if you don't even want to contribute, or if you feel like there's part of you that wants to help others and you're not quite sure how to channel that. We're going to open up a space for this. I actually am going to be doing a free live in September. I think it's the 16th of September. It could be wrong, but I'm going to put all the details on the show notes. It's going to be a waitlist form for you. And when you go on the wait list, you'll get all the information. I am feeling really positive and excited, and this will always be through the lens of ADHD in women. It'll always have the well-being side. It will always have the conversations about how we can feel physically and mentally, emotionally, creatively, spiritually more alive, and how that can lead to better self-understanding, better connections, better healing, breaking these generational patterns and conditioning. So I cannot wait to welcome you to this space. Now, if you have not read the book, please don't worry. Though obviously the book is available, but we will be making the book come to life through these different monthly conversations, these spaces where we're going to go more into the prompts and the journals and the practices and get a bit more curious about them. You know, I only had a certain amount of word count, so I have a lot more to say. So I kind of want to wake everybody up to realizing that life can be easier, that we can find those moments, those pockets of joy, those pockets of expansion, where feeling regulated and more grounded and more present can be a choice. So this is what More Yourself is going to be about. I'm really, really, really excited to have you here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being open, I hope, to change and evolution in this space. I wanted to make this a place where we could grow together. I'm definitely growing. And as ADHD in women becomes a topic that more people are talking about, it's time to evolve and it's time to dig deeper and go beyond the surface of what the mainstream media is talking about and bring in deeper concepts. So if you are there for learning and embracing the real you, asking for what you need and making a space to question and play and get curious and create and have a bit of fun, then I hope that you will join me in this More Yourself space. So take care. You'll hear me on Thursday's episode, of course, interviewing an amazing guest, but hopefully you will now get a little bit of both, from the coaching side from me, but also the education and the awareness that we all need in the ADHD space. So I will see you very soon. Take care. If this episode has been helpful for you and you're looking for more tools and more guidance, my brand new book, The ADHD Women's Wellbeing Toolkit, is out now. You can find it wherever you buy your books from. You can also check out the audiobook if you do prefer to listen to me. I have narrated it all myself. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you for the next episode.